love that cartoon. I hope you love it too. So look how beautiful. This is just gorgeous. I love it here. It's cold. It's pretty cold. I think it's like 30 degrees. So I have a blanket and I have a nice cup of hot coffee, and I'm ready to tell you my next story. But first, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please support me on this. You know, I'm a mom, a regular mom who's just trying to reset our lives, redesign our lives, make my kids' lives better. I'm kind of a person who throws darts to see what sticks, and this is one of the things, but I definitely need support on this. So please subscribe. Watch the videos. Enjoy them. Comment. I just love your support. And if you've already subscribed and watched my videos, thank you so much. So this is the story of when me and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, got into it. This was years ago, and I just want to say I'm not bashing him. I think, and I thought then, he's wonderful. He is a kind man, he seems, anyway. Funny, great. He makes my kids laugh. Fantastic. We just happened to disagree on something and got into it a bit. And in my opinion, I won. So this is kind of what happened. So at the time, he was The Rock. He was a wrestler for WWE. And I was an event manager for a big entertainment venue. We did concerts, we did sporting events, and they came in, the show, WWE. It became my client, my show. I was assigned it. Great. Now, I took my job very seriously. I loved this job. I loved my boss. And I just want to say, this is a boss that he was not the one that made me watch pornography during our managers' meetings. He was the opposite of that. I love this boss. It's fantastic. So I love my job, and I always wanted to do really, really well. Like, I wanted the show, the people, like in this case WWE, to come back and say, she was fantastic. She's the best. We always want her. I wanted letters from the guests to say how great their time was. And then, you know, at managers' meetings the following week, I always looked for my boss to say something really great about the job I did. And the times he didn't, I was a tiny bit heartbroken. Not for personal reasons, but just because I'm that person. I think my love language, to be honest, is affirmation. And so I need that feedback. I need positive feedback, or I feel really like I didn't do a good job. So that's how I went into it. And an event manager, just so you know, a little context, is responsible for everything going on with the show. So you have on one hand the show, in this case WWE, and they give you a bunch of paperwork and say, this is what we need to make this show happen. Great. Okay. And so I pretty much implement what they need for my building, because all buildings are a bit different. So I would make what they needed happen at my place. But I'm also responsible to my building. You know, my bosses, our building had rules and guidelines that they had to follow for the city, and our own personal rules to ensure safety and that the show would run smoothly. So we had that. And then I always had in the back of my mind, I need these guests, these thousands and thousands, sometimes 14,000 people to come in and be safe and have a good time. So all of this is kind of at the responsibility of the event manager. And so there was a lot of moving parts, a lot of things you're thinking about, right? Okay. So one of the things that happens during a show is after move-in, everyone has been there for hours and hours and hours, and you're moving in, and it gets time for doors. And what doors is, and when you open doors, is when you let the front doors open and all of your guests come in. Usually there's a long line outside, everyone's waiting. It says on their ticket, hey, your door's open at this time. So you open doors. And how you do that is, as an event manager, you connect with the department head of all the different departments throughout the building. You say, hey, are you ready for doors? And everyone knows what time doors is, so it's not a surprise, the timing. Great. So everyone kind of is ready. They tell you they're ready. No one's really runs late. Well, in this time, I called, and the last call you make is to the show itself. And you say, are you ready? The building is ready. Are you ready for doors? And almost always they say yes, because they too want to run on schedule. The longer the show runs, the longer their night is. The move out will go extended, and they're paying crazy labor costs. They want everything to run on time, especially if it's filming. So I was surprised to hear, no, we're not ready. We have a wrestler in the ring. Really? Okay, that's odd. So I give them a few more minutes. The building is 100% ready. And I call back and I say, hey, are you guys ready for doors? And they say, no, we have a wrestler in the ring. And I can hear it in their voice that they're not thrilled about this, but I said, okay. So I go back and I'm kind of running around doing things. I call again and I say, are you guys ready for doors? We are almost 10 minutes now past when doors are to open. And they say, no, we're not. We still have a wrestler in the ring. And so I do what any, probably event manager would do, and I take it into my own hands, and I go down with my happy little self down to the outside of the ring, and here's a picture of what it must have looked like, the Rock and I arguing. I think this is great. I mean, The Rock looks fantastic in this cartoon. So I start telling him, look, hi, and I introduce myself. I tell him I'm the event manager, and I say, I'm not sure if you were aware, but doors should have opened over 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to need to ask you to leave the ring so I can open doors. And he surprisingly says, no. He tells me no. And it's not anything to do with me that I was surprised. I was more surprised because it's very known you open doors on time. That's what you strive to do. You don't want to be late because for many reasons. So, one, the guests are outside very antsy, pissy, probably been drinking for hours. They want in. Secondly, you really have to understand how hard it is to get 13,000 people into one building. I mean, parents, you see how hard it is to get one kid in one car seat. It's hard. So getting all those people in within an hour is not easy. You have to bring them in safely, scan their tickets. Security has to do their thing. They need to find their seats. And I hate to bring it down to money, but the building makes quite a lot of money on those concessions, and every minute that they're not selling, especially in this case beer, they're losing a chunk of money. And I mean, for anyone that knows how much beer is at these events, can you imagine 13,000 people not buying it for even 10 minutes, how much money that means? So opening doors on time is important. Us being delayed is not good, and I know it's going to affect my reviews, and I'm really having major panic attacks inside. So, but he keeps arguing with me. I keep telling him, no, you're going to have to get out. And he's like, no, I'm not ready. And I'm like, I'm sympathetic for that. I understand. However, I have some obligations. And we're going back and forth. And he just won't concede. He will not concede. So I finally have to just kind of throw it down. And I just say, look, this is what's happening. I'm going to walk up those stairs right there, all the way to the top. And once I get there, I'm going to give you 1 minute. There will be 1 minute until I open doors. And you can be in the ring and people see you, or you can choose to not be in the ring and no one sees you. It is completely your choice, but this is what I'm doing. So he kind of gives me a snarly look. It's okay. I've had worse looks. And I decide I'm just going to walk up the stairs, and that's what I do. I'm shaking as I'm walking up the stairs. It was so scary. He was intimidating, but not in a bad way. He wasn't scary to me. He didn't threaten me or anything like that. God, he was very nice. He was just, very set on what he needed. And like I said, I totally understand. But he's a big dude, I mean, his arms, the width of his arms is like the width of my waist. And that is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. But that's the case. And I was a little worried. And he was the star. And I was kind of telling him what to do. And he was not happy with me. But I'm really glad I did it. I walked to the top of the stairs as strongly as I could. I turned to look at him. And he was in the ring still, but has made his way up to the other side and was going to be crawling out. And he kind of looked back up at me because he was down below at the bottom of the arena. And he kind of gave me a look, but he left. He walked out of that ring, out of that arena, backstage, and waited for his turn to come out and do his match. So that is my encounter with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I'm glad I did it. I was glad I held firm with what I knew was right, even though it was scary and intimidating. But I was not going to get a bad review. I was not. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you love it, this view. I do. I love it, love it. Please subscribe to this channel. Gosh, I would love to have a huge following so I could share my stories with you. I would love some of your stories to come back. Comment below. Watch them. There's a playlist. Watch those. Enjoy these shows. I love being vulnerable with you, and I hope you're getting to know me a little bit. Thanks so much.